Hi everybody, this is part 2 of the video. At this stage of the game, we are ready to go ahead and start making our works cited page. Alright, so we're going to create an entry for each of the sources that we used. I think probably everybody used Knight, so we'll start with that one because it's really the easiest and most direct. So we want to make our page kind of look like Trilby's page. So it's going to be double spaced and we're going to have to tweak the indenting, but let's get all the information down first. Now, if you get your Knight book out, you can open it up to the title page, and that's where you need to be for Knight. If you look on the back of your outline page, there's a section that says creating your works cited page, and that's where I am here on the board. So a works cited entry starts with the author's last name and then his first name. Okay, then you're going to have the title. You can see there's 2 spots for a title here. That's if you have the title of the article and then a title of a newspaper or a magazine or a website where that is. That's not the case with the book. If you have a book, you've only got one title. We've got other contributors, translators. Sometimes we'll have a version, edition, a number, a volume, something like that, publisher, and publication date. So this is the sort of information that we are looking for Knight. Now, we're not going to write author L, F. We're going to write his actual name. That's easy enough to start with because we know his name. His name is Elie Wiesel. And if you look at the title page, you'll see, I'll pull this up just a wee bit, you can see how to spell his name. So go ahead and put his last name, Wiesel, comma, Elie, period. Wiesel, comma, Elie, period. And remember, Wiesel is W-I-E, not E-I. W-I-E-S-E-L, comma, Elie, period. We're going to skip this little section right here because we don't need 2 titles. We only need 1. So the title of the container is the title of the book. We're going to put Knight in italics and then put a comma. Everybody do that now. Knight in italics and then a comma. The book Knight does have other contributors. If you look at the title page in your Knight book, it'll say that it's translated from the French by Marion Wiesel. So we have another contributor, that is a translator. We don't write other contributor translator, we write her name and then translator in parentheses. So we'll put Marion Wiesel in parentheses, translator. Do that now. We do not have different names for different versions or numbers or editions or volumes, so we'll skip over that and we'll go straight to the publisher. The publisher is always found either on the title page or on the copyright page. And if you flip the page in Knight, you'll see that there's the copyright date and the publisher right there. Hill and Wang are the publishers. So in place of publisher here, you'll write Hill and Wang, comma. Do that now. Hill and Wang, comma. The publication date is the copyright date. So go ahead and put the most recent date that there is a copyright. That's the rule. You generally put the most common date. The most recent date, which is 2006. So you're going to put 2006 here. And because we used many pages in the book, we're not going to put a location. We do not have a second container. This is like if you have something off of a database. So we're going to end our entry with a 0. Not a 0, a period. I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, so let's see what you should have. Wiesel, comma, Elie, period. Nothing for this. Knight, italicized, comma. You should have Marion Wiesel, in parentheses, translator, comma, Hill and Wang, comma, 2006, period. And that's your entry for Knight. Now let's go ahead and look at maybe let's go ahead and look at one of the articles. Let's look at Article 2. I'm pretty sure most of you used Article 2 in your essay. That's the one about David Gwertzman and Jacqueline Murakatete. So let's talk about how we would go about making a works cited entry for this one. So hit enter and let's start again. We've got to find the author of our article, who is Corey Kilgannon. But we're going to type his last name, comma, first name, period. Go ahead and do that now. Kilgannon, comma, Corey, period. Do it now. Kilgannon, comma, Corey, period. Now in this situation, with our article here, we do have two titles. We've got the title of the article, and then we got the title of the newspaper that it was published in, the New York Times. So we're going to put both. We're going to open quotes, and we're going to type in something in common. Horror, survivors describe the evils of genocide. And you need to capitalize it as it's capitalized here. And make sure you put the whole thing in quotation marks and end it with a period. Do that now, please. I'm going to give you a sec because it'll take you a second to type all that. Something in common, colon, horror, semicolon, survivors describe the evils of genocide. That should be in quotation marks with a period after it. Something in common, horror, semicolon, survivors describe the evils of genocide. Close quotes, period. Next is the title of the container. And in this situation, it's not a book, but it's a newspaper, the New York Times. So here in italics, you're going to write the New York Times with a comma after it. The New York Times with a comma after it, and it needs to be italicized. The New York Times italicized with a comma after it. On this one, we don't have any other contributors, translators, editors, versions, numbers, so we're going to skip all that and go straight to the publisher. We look down here in our publication information and we find out that it was published by the New York Times Publishing Company. Please type the New York Times Publishing Company right here. The New York Times Publishing Company needs to go right here in the publisher spot. Then you'll put a comma and the publication date. Be mindful of the fact that the publication date has to be in MLA format. So once you put the New York Times Publishing Company here with a comma, you'll do the date, which you can see from down here is January 14th, 2004, but you got to put it in MLA format. That would be 14 January 2004. We don't have a location, no page number, no URL. We don't have a second container title. So we'll skip all that, ending with a period. To review, this should say Kilgannon, comma, Corey, period. The title of the article, in quotation marks, something in common, horror, survivors describe the evils of genocide. The title of container in italics should be the New York Times. There should be a comma. This should say the New York Times Publishing Company with a comma, and then 14 January 2004 with a period at the end. Lastly, we need to do the movie. Movies are a little bit different, so I want to go over that with you. And if you flip in your document to the very last couple of things, I've got Notes from Life is Beautiful, which has all the information you'll need to be able to do a works cited entry from the movie. Okay, now in a movie, you do not have an author and a title. You don't have an author and the title like a magazine title. You do have the author, the title of the movie. So that's where we're going to start. We don't have this information. We start here. We put the title of the movie in italics. Life is Beautiful, in italics with a comma. Life is beautiful with a comma. In a movie, we do have a lot of contributors, okay, because we've got the director and we've got the performers. So instead of writing other contributors, we're going to put directed by, and we're going to scroll down in our notes from the movie, and we'll find out it was directed by Roberto Benigni. So here where it says other contributors, you're going to write directed by Roberto Benigni. Do that now. Directed by Roberto Benigni. Here's his name. You can look it up in your packet if you can't see that on the board. Roberto Benigni. Directed by Roberto Benigni. And you're going to put a comma after that. Then you're going to put performances by. Type that now. Performances by. And we're going to list the main actors. Performances by. Obviously, Guido is Roberto Benigni. So you'll put performances by Roberto Benigni, comma. The lady who plays Dora, her name is Nicoletta Braschi. So you'll write comma, Nicoletta Braschi. And then maybe we could put the kid who plays Josue too. Then put Giorgio Cantarini. So you're just putting the actors' names, you're not putting the parts they play. All right, the last couple of things we've got to put in are the publisher and the publication date. For a movie, the publisher is going to be the studio that puts out the movie. And for this, it's Miramax. So where it says publisher, you'll write Miramax, comma, and then the publication date, which is on disc streaming November 9, 1999. Of course, that's got to be in MLA format. So we're going to put 9 November 1999. 9 November 1999. Do that now. 9 November 1999. All right, so let's review what this should look like. This should say, Life is Beautiful, italicized, comma. It should say, directed by Roberto Benigni, directed by Roberto Benigni, comma, performances by Roberto Benigni, Nicoletta Braschi, and Giorgio Cantarini, comma, Miramax, comma, 9 November 1999, period. Okay, now that's the main three. You should be able to go back and do your other articles based on the instruction you've been given here. I wanted to mention one other thing to you. I want you to make sure that your works cited page is completely complete by the time you come to class tomorrow. So that means if you can't finish it in class in the time you have remaining, you'll have to finish it tonight. For those of you who are still struggling with the internet, I wanted to show you this neat trick. You can take your essay, click on File, put Make Available Offline, click on that, Make Available Offline, and then if you click on this, it'll say this document is ready for offline use. You can edit this document without an internet connection. Changes will save to the drive once you're reconnected. All right, so that's an awesome way to be able to work on it at home if you don't have internet. All right, good luck, guys. I want all 4 of your entries all situated in your works cited page by the time you come to class tomorrow. Have a great rest of the day. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.